It's a lovely looking machine, very classic, lines. It looks like you are kind of transported immediately to the 60s and the 70s. So the moment you are perched on the BSA GOLDSTAR 650, you are greeted by a very friendly sitting height, very traditional classic looking instrument cluster, and I think that's what is the old world charm that this motorcycle brings with it. And then when you crank start the engine, you are greeted by a typical single cylinder vibration that you'll feel underneath the seat. That is there, but it's not annoying, I can tell you. It's smooth. Because it is a large capacity engine, 650cc with large power and displacement figures. And so what is interesting, the moment you rev the throttle, you can understand that there is significant amount of power which you can unleash the moment you start rolling the wheels. And now what I'm going to test it, how does it feel actually rolling the wheels of this machine, which is for the first time largest single cylinder liquid cooled engine for sale in India. Now this is a holiday, it's the 2nd of October, so I got this motorcycle for half an hour for a test ride. I will go towards the highway, the Hoskote highway. I will test some of the high speed manners of this vehicle definitely, but before that let me tell you what are the low speed manners, because right now in a traffic kind of situation, that's what I mean. And in a traffic situation like this is something that you will be encountering during your daily commute, and so it is important that a bike performs very well, whether it is in a situation like this in city traffic, which is less than usual, let me tell you. And how much does the engine heat up, how does the accelerator work, and how is the braking feel in terms of emergency situations, how does it feel when you encounter those occasional and sudden potholes inside the city limits. Yeah, so those are the things I'm going to talk about. And right now, but I am in a traffic signal and I'm trying to find out the gear. I cannot see any gear position indicator, so that's kind of the first disadvantage, obviously. And some digital clusters are there, information, but those are pretty tiny, you cannot make anything out of that. So what you have on the left hand side is basically the speedometer, and on the right hand side you have the tachometer, both analogs, very traditional, very classic, so no complaints with that. If you are in the market to purchase a classic motorcycle, you have to deal with, or these are the things that you should be accepting. You can understand that the engine has got significant amount of grunt, no doubt about it, and the moment you twist the throttle, overtakes are a breeze actually. So right now if you see, I am on the third gear, I am on the 3000 rpm, I am on the third gear, I think I'm the fourth, I'm not sure, and I'm doing about 60 km per hour, and the engine is quite smooth. But one thing that is going to be important for you is the tractability in everyday riding conditions. So I'm going to test that right now, because that's an important test if you want to use your engine for everyday commute inside the city. So right now, down. So how does neutral come in? It's easy, not a problem. So it's a very smooth neutral that comes in. Okay, so let's go. So currently at idling, it's about, let's see how much it is idle at what RPM. So I don't know if the meter pod is right or wrong, but it's saying it's almost at 1500 RPM at idle, possible. So that's quite a high idling RPM. And first gear, downshift, twist throttle, and I want to stay below 2000 RPM. So I'm on the first gear, I want to shift to neutral. Second gear, is it stalling? No, I am doing about 20 km per hour. Let me see what is the speed I can do. So I can do in the second gear, I can go up to 40 km per hour. Can I go to 60 km per hour? Yes. Can I go to more than that? 60 or 65 km per hour. Phenomenal on the second gear. So right from 20 km per hour to 60 km per hour is what you can do in the second gear. You will go to probably about 3000 rpm. So I want to stay below the 2000 rpm, actually below 20 km per hour, and I want to go to the third gear. Well, let me hit the highway. That's when I'm going to try all these antics. I can tell you will not be very comfortable going over rumble strips or bumps at high speeds on this machine. The suspension is made for city usage and smooth highway runs. It is not meant for off-road or bad road conditions. There is no way we can stand up on the foot pegs like I do on my scrambler, or even you can do it on some commuters also. But here there is no way you can do it because you are seated quite low. Your legs are little tilted upwards when you fold them, and your legs are beneath you, folded little backwards. So it's not the best position to stand up on the foot pegs. You won't feel like it and you won't be comfortable doing it. And the handlebar is quite low, so you will not be comfortable doing it. So better reduce your speeds when you see potholes or broken roads, rumble strips or bumps. Again, I'm going to see a rumble strip over here. Let me do sitting. Oh yeah, it gives you some jolt. I think bigger rumble strips or bigger bumps will give you a bigger jolt, but that's not the purpose of this motorcycle. It's meant for sheer pulling power. But I have to comment something about the brakes. They are impressive, very, very impressive. In fact, when I had a first look at this motorcycle, I can tell you, I was actually impressed with the fact that you get Brembo calipers. So far there aren't any Indian motorcycles where I think we get Brembo calipers. What you have is BiBre, which is by Brembo. Brakes by Brembo, but they are of an inferior quality. Brembo is something you get in the super bikes and the international. So I was quite surprised when a bike at this price point actually offered you Brembo calipers. Good. We are going ahead or moving ahead. Cranking up again. We have reached the highway. This is the Hoskote highway, my favorite road, where I go for my weekend runs. And let's see. Let's give it the beans and look at how much of juice it has under its hood. So currently I'm doing 60 km per hour. I'm probably on the second gear, third gear. I move to the third gear right now. 3000 rpm, 40 km per hour. Give the throttle a twist. I am doing 5000 rpm, 80 km per hour. I need to shift up, 5000 rpm. I'm reaching almost 100. So you can do 100 on the fourth gear at 5000 rpm. I think no creases on your foreheads. Comfortably you can do it. Not a problem. So I believe it's a 5-speed gearbox, and you can do 100 on the fourth gear, not a problem. I have not yet tested the fifth gear, which I'm going to go now. I need a bit of empty stretch of road after that before I can do that. So again, rumble strips. I'm down to first gear. I'm sure I will feel all of them. Yes, it's not that the bike is rattling, but what is happening is some of the feel is being transported to my lower spine or to my sternum, if you know the tailbone. So better take good care of your tailbone and your spinal cord if you intend to drive a bike like this of a roadster format, high speeds on the highways. Yeah, so that's the Guerrilla 450. Let me see how much juice we have got. And 4000 rpm. I believe I'm on the fourth gear. Amazing. This is a superbly tractable machine which can do fantastic performance on the highway. I think this is the kind of vibration we can all live with. It's not something that will unsettle us. Of course, you will face the problem if you're coming from a twin cylinder or a 4-cylinder engine from a parallel twin like the V-Storm 650 or the NX 500. Of course, then you can feel the difference, but otherwise, if you're used to riding single cylinder engines, I think you will not feel any difference, considering the fact this is the largest single cylinder engine you can actually purchase in this country. But the vibrations are nominal. I think it's very well engineered. I've already spoken in one of my shorts about the engineering skills or the engineering technology that has gone into this bike. If you see the welds of this bike, they are some of the best kind of forged weldings you can get on the on the engine subframe, etc. I've spoken about it in another of my videos, you can check that. But that's beautiful. It gives you Brembo calipers. It gives you significant amount of power. It is about 52 Nm of torque on the interceptors and the GTs, and this is about 55 Nm at 4000 RPM on the GOLDSTAR 650. In terms of power, this produces about 46.5 bhp, almost 46 bhp, which is probably 1.5 bhp less than the 650 twins. Why I'm comparing with the 650 twins is because that's what you're going to get it compared with. That's the category it operates in. So it produces almost similar kind of power, horsepower. There's no difference there. Whereas in terms of weight, this is about 213 kilos, which is about 11 kilos heavier than the 650 twins. The twins, I think they weigh about 202 kilos. This is about 11 kilos higher, but it's not something that you will feel because the sitting is such, the sit height is low and the balance is very good of the motorcycle. So it's not top heavy, it's very balanced, it's a roadster format. So you have absolutely no problem maneuvering this vehicle inside the traffic. So far I have been riding it in the traffic, I have not felt uncomfortable even for once. And mind you, I ride the Scrambler, which is one of the most well balanced motorcycle you can get in this power ballpark. Let us now give it the beans a little bit. I think we have got some empty stretch of road. So I am at about 4000 RPM doing 80 km per hour and on the 4th gear. Let me shift to the 5th. Lovely. It picks up like there is no tomorrow. I am at 4000 RPM doing about 100 km per hour on the 5th gear. Let me go to 120. So 5th gear, 100 km per hour comes at 5000 RPM. So let me tell you, on my Scrambler it is about 6000 RPM when you are doing 100. So this does it at a lower rev band, which is very good. That means the engine is less stressed. Of course, it's a much larger engine in terms of capacity. 400 versus 652 cc to be precise. 100 km per hour comes in a jiffy. Then again, if you twist it, 120, fantastic, lovely, and it wants to go and go. Single cylinder, dual overhead camshaft, liquid cooled, 150 section rear tire will give you a lot of confidence. And this is a highway machine, no doubt about it. I'm 100% convinced that you can take it on the highways and munch the miles. Only thing is, because of the sitting position, you have to kind of give yourself a break from time to time. Lovely machine. But it does get a little vibey above 120 km per hour. Of course, it's a single cylinder engine, that is expected. So nothing abnormal with it. But then I think we do not cruise or we do not munch miles with those at those kind of speeds. You can do. I will show you how much you can do. So we have 100, 120, pretty easily, but that's when you feel the vibes. Your body actually tells you that I am feeling the vibrations, because there are vibrations on the handlebars, vibrations on the seat, which actually you feel at 140 km per hour. But then again, it's not every day and every time that you're going to do those kind of speeds. I think that gives us a fair bit of idea about how the BSA GOLDSTAR feels to ride inside the city limits as well on the highways. So I'm quite happy with it, given at the price range at which it comes. So now the question is, how does it compare with the bikes, other options that is there available in the market? Now compared to the 650 twins, let me tell you, you will get a little bit of greater smoothness over there, because anyways they are multi-cylinder engines, but rest I've spoken about. Can you compare it with the Speed 400, the Guerrilla 450, etc.? Yes, you can. They are also single cylinder engines. They are liquid cooled, they are smaller capacity engine, but in terms of highway rideability, I think they are all comparable, not a problem. The Guerrilla has a very similar kind of, I think I will compare this more with the Guerrilla 450 rather than the Interceptor, because anyways they come in the twin cylinder category. The Guerrilla will be a better compare with this bike, and I think they will be able to do the similar kind of acceleration times and similar kind of high speed ability, and they also probably are priced almost around the same ballpark. Maybe this will be a little more. It's a lovely looking machine, very classic, lines that actually the pinstripes that run across the tank, the red and chrome. I love this color a lot. Actually there is one black and one silver color also, but somehow I love this red color a lot. It looks very classy. It looks like you are kind of transported immediately to the 60s and the 70s when this bike was actually ruling the roost. The twin pod clusters, no flashy modern day engineering except for the liquid cooling and the dual overhead camshaft and the Brembo calipers. Those are modern technologies which are required for safety purpose. Other than that, I think this machine retains the charm of the yesteryears. BSA written over here, the Birmingham Small Arms Factory, the logo is very distinct. I wish it was embossed. Actually it looks something like a sticker. I don't know. Embossing would have actually helped. I think that logo is there on the fuel cap also. Yes. So the Birmingham Small Arms Factory, that's where BSA actually originated as a company. And I think the only upgrade I would suggest in this bike from my ride experience so far is probably the suspension. You can give it a little better quality suspension probably to kind of absorb. Of course this is a classic motorcycle and a roadster, that too. I don't think it's going to get very long travel suspension anyways, so it needs to be a different format of motorcycle to do that. But no complaints, fantastic machine. The question is, would I buy it now? For myself, no, it doesn't make sense, because my preference is of a different kind of riding style. I love motorcycles that will allow me to go off the road and be comfortable also from time to time, apart from my daily commutes and my highway runs. This is purely from a pose kind of, if you'd like to pose in your classic jeans and your classic blazer suits, etc., and ride a very classic motorcycle, go to a cafe and park it aside and click a few pictures. This is the perfect motorcycle for it. Lovely halogen lamps, no complaints, halogens are good enough. I didn't have the opportunity to test its the visibility in the night, but you can always fit aftermarket ones. Of course I would not suggest it on this motorcycle. This motorcycle is best left to its bare minimum, the way it is, the way you purchase it. It's very minimalistic design, and you have a very large radiator grille, and you have a bash plate also, so you need not be very concerned about bottoming out, although there is a chance you might if you face a very big pothole or a bump, but otherwise very classic looking motorcycle. Put it in the comments, let me know what is your feeling about the looks of this motorcycle. The next thing I wanted to kind of talk about is the seat comfort. It's okay, decent. I wouldn't say it's greatly comfortable and very nicely cushioned. Of course, a very good cushioning is not good for long hauls because it will kind of give you a sore back. So it is decently cushioned and it's decently wide also. You won't complain. I don't know about the pillion seat, but it looks good enough actually. It's a good motorcycle to carry your pillions on. And you've got a charging port here, so you can do your long hauls basically and without any scrabbles. And here you can see you can actually you have the opportunity to plug in a type C or a USB cable both, which is a very nice touch because most of the motorcycle have either of the two. They do not have both. So that's a very nice touch, and the seats are comfortable. Standalone, not a problem, but this is something that can always be changed very easily. You can go to Sahara Seats or some good seat manufacturing aftermarket seats company and get some nice seats done. What is important is the engine itself and the suspension, because those are the things that make your ride enjoyable or not so enjoyable actually. So that brings me to the end of this review, and I had this motorcycle for about half an hour to test and I'm pleasantly surprised is what I can say. So I love these wonders on two wheels, the machines that I ride, and I ride different kinds of machines, and I share my experience and my opinion about those machines with you so that you can make informed decisions while you want to make that crucial purchase, because these machines, they cost above 3 lakh, 3.5, 4 lakh rupees, which is not a small amount going by Indian standards. They're still in the premium category. They might be beginner machines in the Western world, but in India they are probably all the wheels that we require to enjoy our life on the road. And that's why I love this category so much. And if you love the content that I create, do come back by hitting the subscribe button, because that's how you're going to be kept updated about the machines that I ride and how I do feel about riding them.